Thank you very much. Today we are going to see about specifically the project cost estimation fundamentals. Actually, last time Professor Attila he told you about some of the estimation fundamentals, and we see the detailed estimation, especially related with how to calculate unit rate analysis. So this is like a lot of information over here. Maybe we can divide the class into two because we can't cover all of them. I will try to cover as much as possible. So this is the homework part. As you see here, the first fundamental concept of a project cost estimation is like here we have the three terms: project, cost, and estimation. So when we are talking about project cost estimation, we have here a project, we have here a cost and estimation. So the project is it's like time bounded, it has its own unique characteristic, the starting time and finishing time. We can say that project like road construction, building construction, tunnel construction. So to start this construction, we need cost. In other words, we need money. So we have to estimate, we have to determine the initial or the starting cost or the total cost of this project. So simply when we are saying project cost management, as I mean like project cost estimation is the process of valuing of monetary expression. It includes the costs, like all of the probable costs, like for the entrants, during the planning time, during the monitoring time, and during the controlling time for the proposed project. So simply when we are talking about project cost estimation, we are going to estimate, or we are going to determine the proposed or the cost for the proposed projects. So under the project cost, we have different cost types. The first one is the project appraisal cost, which is the first thing, because we have to know about the preliminary or the first thing we have to investigate. So during the investigation time, we have its own cost. So the first thing is the project appraisal cost. That is the initial cost. Okay. Then after that, we are going to convert the initial concept to the paperwork. That's the design and consultancy cost. So it has its own cost. So that we call it consultancy cost. Then after that, we are going to build a project. So that is construction cost. Then after that, also we have land owning cost or leasing cost. We need a land or a place to put that project. So we need also a cost for that. Another one is we have to consider the monitoring cost. So finally, the monitoring cost is the cost to control overall the project. If you have any question in the middle of the lecture, you can ask me, okay? Let's see the objective of cost estimation. As I told you, we are going to estimate a cost for the project. So the following are summarized as objective or the purpose of cost estimation. Why we are going to estimate, okay? So the first thing is to know the volume of work, reference to the fund available. So easily we can know the volume of the work. So how much is the building, or how many is the length of the road. Also, it helps us to determine the actual cost per unit of item for each item. So for example, if you take dormitory projects, for dormitory project we have like dorms, we have like studying rooms. So we are going to determine each item's cost. So it helps us to determine the actual cost. Again, it helps us to identify the engineering estimate of the work for bidding purpose. So before involving in tendering purpose, we are going to know the estimate of the project. So it helps us to identify the engineering estimate. Again, it has a purpose related with the workout economical use of material, labor, and equipment. These are the most important thing in determining of the cost in the project. Again, in the project we have variations. In the project, we have variation. For example, the cost what we have now and the cost we have what we have tomorrow, it can be like different, okay, because of different factors. So it helps us to determine costs related with the case of variations. Also, it helps us to determine costs related with the escalation. So Sometimes there is escalation in the work. For example, one of the projects that I involved, it has like escalation every like 6 months. So because of that, the price is like increasing. So it helps us to determine the escalation in the future. These are some of the objects of the cost estimation. So what are the information required for cost estimation? If you want to be like a good cost estimator, the following information is required from you. You have to know about this. The first thing is the correct information of the market price. So you have to know the correct information of what is the price of cement, what is the price of coarse aggregate. If you don't know the correct market price, so the total cost estimation will be wrong. Again, the correct information of the rates of various categories of skilled and unskilled laborers. Also, you have to know about the correct information of the equipments. Okay, so here when we are talking about skilled and unskilled labor, we have like, for example, skilled daily labor engineers or like professionals. In unskilled laborers, we have like daily laborers. So we have to know about the correct information, the work rates. Even if we have to know about the productivity, how much is the output of those workers, the pre-production. Again, we have to know about the equipment and the tools. For example, we are going to rent equipment, we are going to rent a tool, so we have to know about the correct information of these inputs, okay? So these are the most important thing. The final thing is up-to-date knowledge of the construction method. As you know that, for example, like traditionally, for example, if you are going to make a concrete, we use like the traditional way to mix a concrete, but now we are using the mixer or like a truck mixer. So you have to have knowledge up to like the up-to-date knowledge of construction methods. So based on this, we can estimate a project cost perfectly, okay? So the following are skills and knowledges which are needed for the cost estimator. If you want to be like a cost estimator, you have to have these knowledges. The first thing is, as engineer, you have to able to read and understand contract documents. Actually, contract document has two parts, like the general part and the specific part. So you have to know about the contract document. So if you don't know about the contract document, you can't estimate. As engineer, you have to know about that. Like in contract document, we have like, for example, drawings. You have to know about drawings also, like related with the softwares, okay? Again, we have the knowledge related with the ability to accurately take off the quantities of construction work, okay? So you have to know about how to prepare the takeoff sheets or the takeoff the quantities, which helps us to determine the detailed estimate. Again, ability to visualize the future building from drawings. One of the examples that in my experience when I was like a student and I participated in the internship, one of the engineer, he didn't visualize the future building. So the main entrance will be on the roadsides, but he didn't visualize, so he changed the orientation. So you have to know the future, like the future project of the project, the future construction project. So you have to know about that. So you have to visualize that. So it helps us for the cost estimation. Again, you have to have knowledge of arithmetic, how to calculate. As an engineer, you have to know how to add, subtract. You have to know about the basic geometry of the road construction, building construction, like related with the survey, whatever things. Also, you have to have knowledge about statics. Also, another knowledge related with the cost estimation you have to develop or you have to have is like related with the software. Specifically, like starting from the Excel or like some of the software which are directly related with the construction project. For example, for a road, we are going to use like some of the projects like Eagle Point, SAP, whatever. For the like we can use also PTV. So we have to know, we have to have knowledge about that. If you don't know about the software, it's difficult for you to forecast. So having knowledge about estimating software or any software in the project helps us to determine the actual cost estimate. Again, about knowledge about the building construction methods. Do you have any question? So, about the building construction methods. So, for example, the way you are going to build hospital is different from the way you are going to build dormitory, yes? So, you have to know about the construction method, how to put the frames of the building, how to make the road construction, how to build the bridge construction. So if you know that the construction method, it will be easy for you to determine the cost of the project. Again, as in the previous slide, as I told you, knowing about the labor productivity and crew production. So if you know that the productivity of the crew, if you know the productivity of, like in the crew we have like equipments, labor, so in labor we have like skilled and unskilled. So if you know that about this, it helps you to determine the cost of your project. Again, the position of office managerial skills, like organizing the project, related to the cost information, also ability to work under pressure. This is the most important thing. If you work under the pressure, for example, sometimes while you started the construction, you don't have like some materials, or the behavior of the worker is very difficult. So as a construction manager or as estimator, you have to work under the pressure. So by doing that, you can meet all the big requirements and the deadlines. Is everything clear? So let's see the factors which can affect the cost estimation. Okay? The following are summarized as factors which can affect the cost estimation. The first is the type and documentation of the project. As I told you, projects are different. Like we can have like hospital, or we can have road project. So these factors, like the type of project and the documentation of the project, affects the cost estimation. So we should have to know about our project. Another one is the scheduling or the timetable of the project. As I told you, project is time bounded. It has a starting time and finishing time. So we should have to know about the scheduling, the bidding environment. I will tell you later, like in the bidding environment, we have like different types of bidding, like open and closed bidding. Sometimes we have like negotiation bidding. We can have like selective bidding. So you should have to know about the bidding environment. Also, you have to know about the quality and availability of materials. If you know the quality and availability of the materials, it helps you to know about the cost estimation. So, actually it's related with the specification. Again, the construction facilities, the method of construction. Also, the most important thing, another is the location of the site. Your base is like, or your head office is like in Geo, and you are going to work like in Shopwell or like in the rural park. You have to know about the location. So, based on the location of the site, you can determine, you can estimate the project cost. So it includes like transportation costs or like different types of costs based on the location. Again, the proper management, because management includes planning, controlling, staffing, leading, and such kind of things. So these are the factors also which affects the cost estimation. Again, as I told you, the lease or the land, because we are going to put the project on the land, so it helps us to know about the project cost. Again, nature of subsurface condition. One of the projects that I involved with is like as intern, it's a road construction. The contractor, they won the project, but they don't know like about 20 kilometers of they didn't with the site. They don't know about that place. So the site is like it needs stabilization of the soil. So because of that, they include more costs. So if you know that the nature of subsurface condition, the condition of the subsurface, the weather condition, everything, it helps you to determine the costs. So it affects the cost estimation.
Yeah. Just two things here. So even though this seems very theoretical, I mean, it boils down to very practical questions. So for instance, transportation. One of you in your homework, you mentioned, okay, I need to lift these materials to certain distance or to certain height. So you need to think about that. Also, land charges, that's also a good point. For instance, when it gets to road construction, first they remove the soil, the top, let's say 20 centimeters, that's the soil, they need to remove it, that they can use later on, but where to store it? And so they will need to pay charges for storing the soil somewhere. So they remove it and they put it on the side of the construction site somewhere, but they need to pay for it. So these are very technical details, very technical details that the cost estimator need to think of, and you need to know all the details of how you're going to do the project step by step. So that's why it's so difficult.
Yeah.
That's why it's so difficult.
Thank you.
Go on. Yeah, it's just two examples that that came into my mind.
Yeah.
Good.
So let's see the types of cost estimation. We have two types of cost estimation. The first is conceptual or approximate, and the second one is the detailed one. So we see both of them. Actually, as the name indicates, when it says conceptual, it's like approximate way based on experience or whatever. So we are going to estimate the project cost. When we are saying about detail, it is trying to determine the actual cost of the project. Let's see each by each. For example, the first one is preliminary or approximate conceptual costing. Here, it helps to know the financial position of the client. We have major participants in the construction. We have the client, we have the contractor, consultant. So the owner is the client. So it helps to know the financial position of the client before starting the detailed cost estimation. So it is most of the time based on the practical knowledge. For example, we have like, if you plan to build dormitory, like we have like K0, K1, K3. So if you plan to build a dormitory, like based on that, based on the previous project, we are going to determine the cost estimation, like it's like conceptual, approximately. For example, we have like, based on the function, we can determine, for example, if you are going to build a hospital, you have to consider about the bed, yes? If you are going to build like cinema, you have to think about the seats, how many seats are needed. So based on that, like functional units, like based on the function. For example, this room is functional for studying or for giving lectures. So if you are going to build these rooms, you have to think about the function. So based on the cost per functional unit means it's like based on the approximate, based on the function of the building. Again, another one is Pleins area method. It's as the example given for you, like the wall. So based on, like, for example, the area of the structure, like sometimes this can't cover the roof in the building construction. So specifically like the covering of the roof and some of like complex parts you can't cover, but like the way you can visualize and you can make areas. So you can use the Pleins area method, okay? So by doing that, you can calculate, for example, if you want to calculate the area of this wall, we have the length, we have the height. So based on the height, we can determine the area. So based on the area, you can determine the cost. Okay, the cost of this wall can be like this. So based on this, you can construct another wall over there, like that. Another one is cubical content method. The difference here, this one is based on the meter square, it's cost per meter square. This is cost per meter cube. Simply, we have the Pleins area. So if we multiply with one of the dimension and with the cost, like the cubic content rate, that will be the cubical content of our cost. For example, in the example that Professor gave for you, it's the wall, yes. Right on the wall. So it has its own height, it has its own length. Also, if you determine the dimension, the thickness of the wall, so we are going to change from the area to what? Meter cube, yes? So easily by doing that, we can determine or we can approximately have the cost of a building. Prof, do you have any additional?
No, I'm just thinking that in the for this conceptual planning, if you look at the book, I think chapter number 4, but that's very American style. But you will see a lot of examples. I didn't want to put those in because it's very American specific. You will see all these examples for conceptual planning, what America has just explained, like the if you take a unit of like how many beds or how many seats, or these examples like square meter, and you will see a lot of pictures. For instance, for family homes, you will see different quality levels, and they have tables for different quality levels and different projects, and these are very rough unit prices. So this is what actually conceptual estimation does. You have a very rough estimate, and that's plus minus. I mean, there is a plus minus, of course.
Okay. If you're feeling the room is hot, you can open the window if you want. Yeah. So this is about the conceptual. Let's see about the detailed cost estimate. So this is based on item rates. So based on each item. For example, if you are going to have concrete, for the concrete, to make the concrete, we have cement, we have water, we have aggregate, we have sand. So based on each item, we are going to make detailed cost estimations. It is most reliable. It's like actual cost estimation. So for the detailed cost estimation, we need the quantity surveying. So we have to know about the quantity surveying. Again, the analysis of the different rates for the quantities prepared. I mean, when we are saying about the quantity surveying, we have to survey the quantity of the project. We should have to know about the quantity. For example, how many meter cube of concrete is needed? What is the bulk excavation? What is the amount of the soil which is removed from the road construction? We have to know about the quantity of that project. Based on that, we have to know about the different rates. So based on that, we can determine. So when we see for example, for the efficient construction estimate, it helps us to address properly the required project quality, time, and the construction cost. Actually, in a construction, we have three things, specifically three things. We can express like this. We have cost, we have time, and quality. Sometimes they put stop here. So these are the most important thing, the most constant thing. So if we determine the detail or the actual cost of the project, that means indirectly we are going to touch or address the time, cost, and the quality of the project. So in deciding to participate in the intended project, if as a contractor, if you want to participate in a project, you have to know about the following things, because the following things have impact on the cost of the projects, like before the estimation. So the first thing is type of the projects. As I told you, you have to know about the projects. Some of the words are like repeated, but most of them are like important. Method of tendering, as I told you, we have like in the bidding concept, we have like open, we have like close. For example, when you are saying like open, for example, the project is like in Geo, you have to invite, like it's like local, you have to invite like the local contractors from Hungary. If it's like national, you can invite like from Europe. If it's like international, you can invite like from the international places, like the contract which are eligible for the project. So we have to know about the method of tendering. Again, the type of construction contract is like what type of contract we are going to amend. Okay, again, the number and the progress of contracts already at hand, because if you have like a lot of projects on your hand, And if you are going, like, for example, if you have like 10 projects, and if you are going to have another new project, it's difficult to handle, because you are going to mobilize all your equipment from one place to another. Again, maybe you can like have, you can go to like rent equipment or other things. So you have to know about the number and the progress of contracts already at hand, on your hand, if you decide to participate in the bidding process, or like to participate in the new project. Again, the resource availability. What are the resources which are available near to my site, near to my project? Is soil is available? Is aggregates available? What type of material is available? Professionals are available? You have to consider about this. Again, the financial position. As I told you, if you have like a lot of projects and you are going to participate, maybe your financial position can be like affected, because you know, like if you have like a lot of projects and ABCD projects, for example, if I am not going to finish the previous projects and I'm looking for the new project, it has its own effects, like to complete, because we are going to affect the previous projects. So we have to know about the financial position. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It's clear? Okay.
Like you mean like liquidity?
Liquidity, yeah.
Liquidity, yeah. So like you have to finance your running projects, and then at the same time you are bidding for the next projects in the future. But you need to, I mean, you need to be smart how many projects you have at one specific point in time, so that you can pay all the costs, and you have to stay liquid unless you need to have loans.
Yeah, thank you. Another one is like, once the first is you are showing your intention to participate in the project. After that, if you decided to participate, or as a contractor, I'm taking you as a contractor as an example, to participate in intended tender or the bidding process, the following has to be given like in attention. I mean, you have to know about the following things, about the general and the particular condition of a contract. In a contract, we have general part and the specific part. We have to know about what is the general part of the contract, and the specific or the particular condition of contract. If you know the condition of contract, it will be easy for to participate and to estimate the cost of the project. Again, the technical specification. What are the technical specifications? What are the technical requirements? You have to know as an engineer also the drawings. What type of drawings are available? And you have to interpret drawings. There is one saying, as an engineer, for example, if you don't communicate with each other, like if my language is different from your language, we can communicate with drawings. So as a civil engineer, you have to interpret and you have to read drawings. This is the most important thing. Another one is estimated bill of quantities. This is the most important thing. Also, the method of measurement, how we are going to measure, the methodology to measure the project, how to understand, how to estimate the total cost, whatever things. So we have to know about the methodology of measurement. Again, supporting documents, like in addition to the condition and in addition to this, the above documents, these all are documents actually. The condition of contract, technical specification, drawings, these are documents. So in addition to this, we have to have like support documents. I will explain like everything in detail. Again, the site visit and construction method statements. Let's see in detail each of the above things. The first one is general and particular condition of contract. So when we are saying general contracts, it's a general part of a contract, it's a condition of contracts. Okay? So especially in the particular condition of contract, we have to know about this. This is the most important thing for the civil engineers. So when we are talking about the particular or specific condition of contract, for example, it can include the amount and type of performance security. The security you are going to give us a guarantee for the owner or for the public or whatever. Again, the amount of advance payment. Do you know advance payment? Do you have anyone? Advance payment? Advance payment means, like, for example, in a construction, Yusuf is going to participate in a construction of like A. So the owner A like Yusuf doesn't have like money to start or to mobilize his equipment, so he needs some amount of money from the owner, like in advance. You understand, yeah? So to have advance payment, you have to present the advance repayment guarantee, because you are going to give him the money for the owner. So this is the advance repayment guarantee you have to include in the particular condition of contract. Again, the most important is time for completing the project. The starting date and the finishing date. Is it like 1 year, 2 years? You have to specify this thing. Again, the limit of liquidated damage. Do you know what the meaning of liquidated damage? Any idea?
Yeah, when there is leaks from the pipes or anything.
Anyone? Liquidated damage? It's the damage. Yeah, you are like a little bit word, but liquidated damage in a contract is, for example, there is owner. Here we have the owner and the contractor. So they are going to make agreements. For example, sometimes the owner can breach the contracts. You know, sometimes the contractor can breach the contracts. Like, for example, the contractor wants to finish the project within 2 years, but he's not able to finish within 2 years. So he has to pay for the owner. Like, we call it like liquidated damage. You have to specify the liquidated damage in the condition of contract. Maybe like 10%. I don't know in case of Hungary, but also in case like in Ethiopia with the maximum amount.
Yeah, usually there is a daily rate.
Yeah.
And then there is a cap, a percentage cap. Well, so that's for basically late.
Late finishing.
Yeah, late finishing. The contractor pays this for.
Yeah.
This is how they are liquidated damage.
Thank you. Again, when we are talking about retention money, the money that the contractor, after finishing the project, the owner holds some amount of money. The owner holds some amount of money, so we call it retention money. This should be included in the condition of contract. Again, the claims, because in a project we have like different types of claims can be raised. How to settle disputes. So we have to put this thing in the condition of contract, also the applicable laws, the national law, what type of law, like we have different types of specification, different types of laws. We have to include these laws, because if it's agreement, yes, it's agreement between the contractor and the owner. So you have to, if there is like something like between the contractor and between the owner, you have to put how to negotiate, how to settle, or how to resolve those things. Again, you have to put the price escalation, tax exceptions, insurance of the works, and owner's risks. These are also have to be included, because sometimes the escalation can happen, the variation can happen in the work. So you have to specify these things, because contractor is working for the profit, so he has to know about the escalation of the project, or I mean like the materials which are included in the project. So if you put this one, it can be like safe. So these all things, actually these are the major factors which should be like included in the condition of contract, like in the general and the particular condition of contract. Another one is technical specification. Under technical specification, the following crucial information to the contractor should be adopted, like to determine the construction cost of the project. The quality of materials, what type of material with the quality, we have to know about this. About the quality of machineries and the plants, this should be specified in the technical specification. The quality of workmanship, erection and installation method. For example, if you are going to build a huge hydroelectric power project, we have to know, or we have to know about how to erect and how to install the plants, how to make the offices over there, like whatever thing. So we have to know about this. So based on the technical specification, we can include, we can address these things. Again, the test and inspection requirements. For example, for the road construction, we have its own test types. I think you took the course related with the highway, yeah? So there are like tests for the highway, like for the asphalt construction. Also, when you are going to build a project like for the bridge or for the building, we have like tests for the concrete. So you have to specify the test and how the inspection requirements are to be done. You have to put in the technical specification, also the methodologies. Do you have any?
No.
Okay. Again, these are also the technical and the technical specification, the accuracy of the technical and the advocacy, defined and clear stipulation. This also should be included in the technical specification. Fair and equitable requirements, formats which can be easily used during bidding and construction, legal enforcement. This should be included in the technical specification. I have to try to be fast. Another important thing in the project cost estimation, like to estimate the project cost estimation, you have to know about the drawings. This is the most important thing. As I told you, if we don't have like this common language, for example, if I don't speak Hungarian, the person who speaks Hungarian, we can communicate by seeing the drawings. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know about the drawings of the project. So here, for the cost estimation, for example, for the road projects, we have to know about the asphalt production, transportation and replacement, transportation of materials to different floors or sites, like for which parts you are going to transport. You have to know about this. So you can get this information from the drawing easily. You know what I'm saying? So again, methods and types of scaffolding, it's like for the building or like in the asphalt construction, we can build the bridge and the shuttering works. Erection are the same, like in the technical specification, erection and installation of glazing works. Temporary access for manpower working at different floors and the skilled manpower. So we have to clearly understand the drawing. So based on the drawing, we can easily understand what is written over here. So drawing is one of the most important thing for the project cost estimator.
Yeah, just one thing that I would like to highlight here is that, so far what we have discussed, that you're going to need a price, a unit price, and you will need a quantity. Okay, so the quantity comes from the drawings. That's how you can do your the quantity calculations. That's why the drawings should be accurate.
Yeah.
You should be able to understand those.
Thank you. So drawing is the most important thing.
Probably you have explained that, and I just wanted to.
Yeah, thank you.
Highlight it.
Another one is estimated bill quantities. It's estimated, like the bill of quantity. So here the quantity, the estimated quantity of work, the volume of the work should be now, okay? It's also the basis to determine the type and the number of resources to be deployed in the construction project. For example, for the concrete, how many concrete meter cube? So if you know that the estimated the volume of the concrete, it's easy. So we can determine the amount of cement, like if it's like 100 meter cube or 10 meter cube concrete. So we have 10 meter cube. So for 10 meter cube, it's easy. It can be basis to determine the amount of cement, aggregate plus water. If you are going to use like admixtures, we can easily know about this. Okay, so estimated bill of quantities. It can be basis to determine the type and number of resources which are going to be deployed during the construction of the project. Again, the given quantity of work can be executed like during the completion of the work. So it also helps us about the construction method. So based on the estimated bill of quantity, we can determine the construction method which can be selected during our project time. Another one is the type and the size of crushing plant. So based on the estimated quantity of workers, we can determine the type and the size of the crushing plant, the type and the size of the mechanical mixers or batching plants, the type, size, and the number of machineries, like how many dozers you are going to use for the, as I told you, like for example, for the concrete, like it's 10 meter cube, so to have 10 meter cube concrete, We can use like different types of equipments, like mixer, whatever. So what type of things you are going to use. So you can determine from the estimated bill of quantities, type, size, and the number of machineries. Again, what type of skilled and unskilled, number of manpower. Again, the type and the quantity of the construction material. This is also important in the project cost estimation. Another one is supporting documents. Like the first thing is, like in the previous slides, the first slide I mentioned you, the condition of contract is the most important thing. In addition to this, we have to have supporting documents. For example, if you are going to construct a building or like a road in seismic areas, you have to know about the geological formation of that area. So that is supporting document for your project. Again, the hydrological data, when will be the rain, when will be the sun. So you have, if based on that, you can determine not only from the above, like the ground surface, under the ground surface, you can, based on that information, you can easily also estimate the projects. Maybe you can.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. So the contractor shall have the ability and experience in interpreting the technical data and the data provided to determine construction methods to be adapted which directly affects the construction cost estimates. So based on this, the contractor can technically able and experience like interpreting the documents, so to determine the project cost. Another one is the most important is site visits. As I told you, like as an example, one of the project that I involved in as a student in the internship time, the contractor, they didn't went to see the place like for 20 kilometers. The soil needs stabilization. You know stabilization? The soil is like, it's a clay, so they have to stabilize the soil. So they didn't visit it. So if you visit the site, you know how like it gives you some now about the project cost. Okay? So it helps us to prepare competent and reasonable construction cost estimates. So the contractor must visit the project sites.
Already, already before, the tendering phase.
Yeah, tendering phase.
So, because it's even if it's a like a greenfield investment, and there is nothing on the site. I mean, the example that you told is a good one. So, like for instance, soil characteristics. Even if you just go to the site and see the terrain and the soil characteristics, you can consider that in your cost estimation. That's worth doing it before you apply or you send in your bidding documents.
Yeah. Also, like by visiting sites, you can determine the location of sites, the access road. If there is no access road, you are going to estimate the additional cost for the access road, water power supply, communication facilities. These all can be done by visual inspection before tendering process, before bidding process. So you can, as a contractor or a contractor should visit the site. Another most important thing is method of measurement. So the contractors already understand the method of measurement incorporated with the bidding documents. The bidding documents, like it includes the above things, the condition of contract, drawings, technical specification, everything. So for example, method of measurement, how we are going to measure the project. We have like technical specification like barcoda. Most of the time you use barcoda for the building constructions. Again, we have like in Ethiopia, in our case, we use the European code standard. So like for the road, we use the Euro road standard specification. Based on that, we can measure our projects and we can easily determine the cost of the project. Also, like civil engineering standard method of measurement, or you have your own country's specification. So based on that, you can determine the bidding document, like you can determine the costs, like before the breakdown calculation, before making the breakdown of the project. This also, it gives construction method statement, the final thing. It gives the clear picture of each project activity during the construction phase of the project. So here, the work, you can determine the work as a specification, the estimated quantity of works, safety standards, as well as completion time, the time to complete the project. So these are the sole basis in determining the construction method statement of the project. So by doing this, we can approach the cost of the project. So here in the construction method statement, the following are the critical or the crucial construction issues that should be indicated in the construction methods. The first is the skill and the number of manpower required. Maybe sometimes we can need like more professionals. So we have to know about that. The type and the specification of equipment. As in the previous technical specification, as I told you, the type and the size of the machineries, the size, the number of the so it is related, but we have to mention in the construction method statement, like separately like this. Again, the quantity and the quality of the materials required, proposed working crews, like in the crews, we have to determine the material labor and the equipment. Also estimated crew productivity, estimated duration of the for completing the project, expected defects, and the remedial measures. We have to know about expected defects. Sometimes when you are like constructing a road, sometimes there can be a defect in the project. So you have to expect, okay, this kind of defect can happen. Okay, so based on that, you can easily avoid problems related with the construction project costs. Let's see the basic components of construction projects. This is the most important thing. After this, like after 10 minutes, we can take a break. Okay.
So yeah, I'm thinking that 10 minutes, and then I think that will be an hour and a half. So okay, then we can. I'm just looking at the slides. So probably if we could. I mean, until like 0.3, so until like 39. I mean, but that's probably too many. But you know that better than I do. So you have like 10 slides. That would be good.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Until we reach the
unit rate
section number 3, and then we can leave for the next.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So 10 more slides, and then it's fine. And then we.
So we are going to have break or?
I think you can just continue with, but right now.
Yeah, like 10 more slides, so we can go.
10 more slides, and then we are good.
Okay.
Are you fine with that? Okay, good. And then we leave the section number 3 for next week. Okay. Good.
Okay. So this is the most important thing before making the need analysis. This is the most important component of construction project in the cost estimation. The first is we have like 2 types of costs. Basically, we have direct costs, as Professor mentioned to you like last time. Also, we have indirect costs. So when we are saying direct costs, which are like related with the directly incurred in the project, like on the site, like related with the material, related with the labor, related with the equipment. So we call it direct costs. Also we have indirect costs. These are overhead costs, like we have head office overhead costs, also we have sites overhead costs. These are costs not related with directly with the labor, equipment and machineries or equipments. So, when we are saying direct construction costs, that can be specifically booked with an activity in a project. So we are going to make like book, like for the cement, for the aggregate, or for the aggregate for the road construction. We are going to book. We are going to like book then the price of that thing. So that is directly related with the project, so it's a direct, we can say like the direct cost. Now currently, like actually it's very difficult to determine the overhead cost. So as much as possible in your future career, it's important to have like more direct costs, because it's difficult sometimes to have like head office costs, because direct costs is easily to know about the project's costs, okay, the total project costs. So it's as much as possible the costs to direct costs as they can be like budgeted, they can be monitored, they can be controlled easily. So we advise you like for the contractors, if you will be like a contractor in the future, to have like more direct costs. I think it's clear, yeah, what I'm saying? Okay, so under direct costs we have direct material costs. This is costs referring to cost of materials. We have different types of materials in construction projects, yes? We have like asphalt, like bitumen, we can have like aggregates, we can have like soil. These are materials. Also we have costs related with labor. When we are saying labor, this can be like skilled and unskilled, okay? So the workers, here we are going to see the workers working on a specific activity, such as like carpenters, masons, erectors, whatever. So we are going to determine the direct labor cost. Again, we have to know about the direct equipment costs. If you have equipment, that's okay. If you don't have equipment, you are going to rent equipment from other like places. So you have to know about the equipment costs, okay? So in addition to this, we have to know about subcontract costs. If the project is very huge, and if sometimes it needs like a specialty in the project, you are going to give some part of the project for some like contractor or for some firms. So we have to need subcontract costs. So don't be confused. Subcontract cost is related with it's under direct construction cost. So these are the direct costs. This is the direct costs which can be booked in the project, like specifically during implementation of the project. The indirect costs, these are, it's a broad concept. These are like overhead costs, which mainly include at the head office and site overhead costs. So don't be confused, like when we are saying site overhead costs, I will explain about this. When we are saying like in the head office costs, the costs which are related in the head office. For example, the project is in Johor, but your head office is in Budapest, so there is a cost in the head office, okay? So it's like related with the administration, like with the managerial payment, benefits, everything, like renting, the paying for the rent of the office, like different types. So I will explain everything. So these are overhead costs, okay? So these are not related like directly, specifically with the project on the site, because in the head office you can have like your company is like A, you can have like 10 projects, yes. So you can have like you are going to manage 10 projects at the same time. So that is what we call head office. So if it is like project A, if you are going to implement only in the project A, that's directly on the project, on the site, that is direct cost, okay? These are some of head office costs, like senior management costs, which are related with the salaries and the benefits of the managers, like the top managers. Also indirect labor costs, like costs related with the financiers, like anyone who is working on the garage or whatever, like in head office, like office engineers or whatever, administrators. It's related with the indirect labor cost. So it's indirect labor cost, not direct labor cost. In the previous slide, I explained about direct labor cost. Here it's indirect. That means at the head office level. Again, head office building cost. If you are going to rent a building, the building is not yours. You are going to pay for the building, yes? That is indirect cost. That's overhead cost. Again, bidding expenses. For example, if you are going to participate in the bidding process, you are going to buy the document from the owner. This is expense related with the bidding. Also related like bid bonds, site visit expenses. This included in the bidding expenses. Again, expertise, service costs. Sometimes you need like expertise, like professionals, especially like if there is like disputes and the claims in your project, you have to hire professionals like related with the disputes. You have to hire lawyers, auditors, or sometimes like, for example, in the road construction, for example, like we can take our professor Attila. He is like a professional in the safety, road, in the transporting safety. So specifically, if we need like related with the safety, we can take him. We can like, so that we call it like expertise, specific person who is like able to do that work. So we can include this expertise service cost in the head office overhead cost. Also, office furniture and documents, office running expenses, like we have to pay for the telephone, fax, internet service. These all are office running expenses. Again, if we have like workshop for the machineries, garages, warehouses, these all are related with the head office overhead cost. Don't forget, when we are saying head office overhead cost, the cost which is at the head office, not directly related with the sites. Okay. Again, we have like bank charges. Maybe we can borrow money from the bank, so we are going to pay like with the interest. So if you are paying like again back to the bank, that's the bank charges. It's also head office overhead cost, insurance charges, transportation and the travel expenses. Sometimes like you can't have like the company can't provide you the company car, so you are going to use the rental cars, or you can use like transportation, so you have to reimburse that transportation cost. So this is also head office overhead cost. Sundry expenses, these are like miscellaneous expenses, like we can use like for advertisement of our project, like for donation. So we have to know about these things. So if
Sundry,
you
I've never heard that term.
Sundry, yeah.
Sundry, I've never heard.
Yeah, like in the project, like for example, we are going to announce, advertise our company. We call it like sundry. It's like miscellaneous costs. Another word for the miscellaneous. So for donations, like if you are participating like in donation, like in the party, something, it's like expenses. So we have to consider under the head office overhead cost. So another thing, like as we mentioned, under indirect construction costs, we have site overhead costs. This is the final part for today. So I think So in the it's the same as head office overhead costs, but here we have site. In the site, we are going to have like site overhead costs. So specifically, these are related with like in the same way, like in the head office, we have like managerial costs. Also here like site managerial costs. Again, here we have indirect labor costs. Okay, in the same way, like in the overhead costs. For example, our head office is in Hungary, in Budapest, and our project is in Jor. If it's very far, like it's 1.5 hours. Yeah, so we have to have like head office or like another office on the site. So we have to know about the cost of that site's expenses. You know, like for example, there are like managerials on the site. Okay, you have to give salary and benefits for them. Indirect labor costs, you have like office engineers, site engineers. These are indirect labor costs related with the site. So again, mobilization and demobilization costs. When we are saying mobilization, we have to mobilize all our equipment, like to start the project, and after that, finishing the project, we are going to take all our equipment or all our things from the site. So that's demobilization. So they can be like, we can say like transportation cost. Another one is tender expenses, like related with the performance security. Like I mentioned, like in the bank guarantee, like in the condition of contract, we can have like this also in the site overhead cost. Like for example, like we can build like small office on the site. Yeah, that's what we call like site overhead cost, like related with that mainly. Okay, not with the material, not with the equipment, not with the labor. Again, expertise, we can need also expertise like service costs. This also site overhead costs. We can have like furniture and documents, office running expenses, radio communication. So this also site overhead costs. Again, camp facilities. So if you are going to build a camp, specifically like for the road construction, we need a campus, like because it's very long. So we need a campus. So also the camp facility, access roads. For the camp facility, we need like to build like temporary offices, temporary guardhouse, temporary like garages, everything. So this also included a site overhead cost, access codes. If we don't have like access code, we have to build access code. We have to construct access code. So it's also site overhead cost. Again, water and the power supply, workshop, garages, and the warehouses. These are also.
Two more slides. If you just say a few words about risk allowance and then the profit and income tax, that's fine.
So these are the site overhead costs. Then after that, again in the project cost estimation, we have to know about the risk allowance because there are risks in the construction. Yes. So construction can't be like it's difficult to avoid risks, but we can minimize risks in the project. So we have to know about the risk allowance. So we will see all of this in the calculation next time. So like a little with the contractual risks, like between the project owner and subcontractors and the suppliers. So we have to determine the contractual risks, technical risks associated with the clarification of the technical specification, working drawings. So we have to know about this. Actually, it's like this risk allowance helps us to compensate the negative impacts of different risks. So by having the risk allowance, it's allowance. Okay, it's allowance. So we can compensate the negative impacts which can be happen in the future of between the project time. Again, we have like political and economic risks. So related with the political situation, stability of economic policies, we can assume about this also. Another important thing is the final for today, I hope, is the profit and income tax. This is the most important thing because we have to, like a contractor, the aim of the contractor is to build a project, then after that to have a profit, yes? So we have to know about the profit and income tax. The tax is very important thing also for the government or for the public. Okay, so when the contractor executes the project, to invest their capital to get maximum possible profit, as I told you, so they want to get maximum profit from the construction project. So we have to know about the profit margin. Entirely depends on the market competitiveness and the company strategy. So the project margin of, you have to identify or you have to specify the project margin of your projects. Like sometimes it can be like 30%, sometimes it can be like 20%. You have to know about, okay, this amount of profit can be like earned from this project. So if you know the profit, it helps you to estimate the project. This is some examples from the Ethiopian tax approximation about any construction company. They tend to have profits about 30% of gross profit. So they want to have 30%. It's too much, yes. But that's the maximum amount. So again, related with the tax, of course, contractors they have to be registered for the VAT. Okay, they have to be registered with the VAT, and we have to know about the income tax. So based on this, the contractor's construction cost estimate shall also include value added tax. In our case, it's about 15%. I think in Hungary also it's 50%.
No, it's 27.
27. Oh.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. So I don't know in your case, in your country, you can check the income tax of the project. So this is all about the project cost estimation. Next time we'll see about the unit rate analysis. So based on all the topics that we covered, specifically how to determine the unit rate of each item. For example, to have this chalk is 10 forint. is 10 forint, how it can be like 10 forint, you know? So the rate for this choke is 10 forint. So to make this choke, like take it as an example, we have like direct cost for this choke and indirect cost for this choke. So how to calculate the unit analysis, we will see that next time.
Yeah. Okay. And how